Hi YouTube, this is Kalia. I thought I'd come on and start making me a couple of videos, pretty much a couple of videos chronicling my life. I don't know if that's the right word, but anyway. I just wanted to share some experiences. I haven't really came out with a video on here probably since before the pandemic. But I wanted to come on here and just share a lot of life updates and just things I have been going through in my life for the past, I would say, 4.5 years. And I would like to share some stuff with y'all, my experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I consider myself to be a transparent person. So I just know that sharing these experiences with you all will not only help me just to vent and just be transparent and get it off of my chest, but also help someone that, has a listening ear and just wants to know how to handle things as a Black woman in America working a 9 to 5. One thing I would like to talk about that I really want to share in this video is just one of the experiences I have been going through for the past 4 years, and that is bullying, harassment, gang stalking, and just a lot of things that can take a toll on not only your mental health, but your emotional and sometimes your physical too, because it can really, things like that can really mess with your physical health. So, pretty much my situation starts almost 4 years ago. I've been at my current job for June made 18 years. So I have been there a very long time. And in those, I would say 13 years, I never really had any really bad experiences as far as with coworkers, maybe the occasional disagreement and things like that, but nothing to the extent of what I've been through in the past 4 years. So I would say during the pandemic 2021, a lot of older workers left the job that I was at. A lot of older people, in fears of getting the COVID, which I've already said that on here, but in fears of getting that illness and perishing pretty much. So a lot of those people left, and a lot of hirees were, put into those positions. And there were, newer people that was in those positions, really starting out. I also work in the healthcare field. But it was a lot of people that, were newer to their positions and newer to the job that they were doing, like just graduating out of their programs and stuff. So I had also started a new shift on my job. I was currently going from working mid shift to working night shifts. I worked a couple nights a week, 9-hour shifts. So, it pretty much gave me a 40-hour shift, which I liked better because I had more of a consistent schedule. Plus, I was given full-time benefits. So that worked out great for me. And during the duration of this time, I would say maybe the first 6 or 7 months, everything was okay. But over time, I started noticing differences. An incident ended up happening to me that was very traumatizing for me mentally and emotionally. I tried to keep it to myself as long as I could, but I had to turn to my manager and let her know because it was very much taking a mental toll on me, because I also had to continue working with the person that, was causing the stress in my life at my job. So I ended up telling her, and she actually wanted me to go to administration, but I didn't feel comfortable at the time. Mind you, this was probably 4 years ago. This is where all the bullying originally started after this situation. And I am one of the few minorities that do work at this place. There's not many minorities. And with me working night shift alone, I work a shift by myself. It does make you more of a bigger target because not only am I a minority, I'm also quiet and I keep to myself. I try to cause no trouble. I'm very much an easy person to get along with. You tell me anything that you may need help with or I need to do, you know, I don't mind doing it. It's my job. I don't mind fulfilling my job. So, I'm really not a hard person to work with. So, going back to talking to my manager, so I tell her what happened, and of course, she wanted me to go to administration. And I talked against it because, again, I felt uncomfortable because I knew this person was very well liked by everybody at the place I worked. And I knew that if I talked against this person, that it was definitely going to be retaliation and just some type of get back. I knew that firsthand. Well, at the time I was a little younger, and you live and you learn. But I ended up telling some people about what happened with this person, the situation. And of course, it got around the facility. And, I knew that people was going to feel away because of me being a minority and the other person being a different color. And, yeah, of course, people heard about it. It was this person had a lot of involvement with other people, other women, because this person is a male. And at the time at the time I knew what he was doing, but I didn't know to the full extent. I didn't know that I was going to end up being the scapegoat of him being let go. And after everything was said and done, and they ended up letting him go for other reasons that were unknown to me at the time, they ended up making me the scapegoat. I would say in my words, a lot of trickery was done towards me because I'm not a naive person, but I've always been a straightforward and honest person. And I think during this time period in my life, I realized that people can be mean and just pretty much underhanded and evil and hateful. I've always knew that people, everybody are not good. I know that there's good and bad people out here. I know that. I'm finna be 40 years old. I've had a lot of experiences. I know this. But working in this workplace, I had never experienced such vitriol to the extent that I did from these people. And when I tell you they did anything in their power to try to tear me down, using other men to try to seduce me into wanting to be with them, to sleep with them. Because at the time, this person wanted to try to, I felt in my spirit, and I know that I was right in this, that he wanted to try to get me to do something with him. And I didn't do anything with him because this is a job. And I'm just not the type of woman to do that. I know who I am. I have morals and values. I don't judge anybody for what they do, but for me, I don't do that. So it made me extremely uncomfortable. And there was several advances made that made me uncomfortable to the point where I had to tell my manager because I was just tired of dealing with it. And so I felt like after that happened and he was let go, I was the scapegoat. They used me to say that I was the one to get him fired when there were another woman that was complaining about him as well. I felt like they tried to use other men to come towards me that worked in the same position that he did to try to come at me, to try to get me to be sexual with them. And that was never my place, to try to prove a point that I was the one that made him do the things that he did towards me. They tried to twist it around. And what I want to say to y'all, because manipulation is real, mind control is real, and if you don't have a strong mind, you will be putty in people's hands. People are so vindictive. They're so underhanded and conniving. And if you don't have the mind frame of your own to know that this isn't right, they're trying to trick me into some stuff that has nothing to do with me, because I had nothing to do with this man's firing. Everything that he did before me, during during the time that he was making the advancements towards me and to other women, he did that to himself. I finally had to speak up because it was messing with my mental health. I felt away. It was like a blur with me going to work because I never knew what I was going to expect from him. And I was tired of feeling that way. Anticipation, agitation. Like I was so agitated and just on pins and needles all the time. And I was tired of feeling the way I was feeling. I was so emotional. Because in the beginning, you don't know what to expect. You're thinking, oh, well, maybe, he's attracted to me. Maybe he wants to date me. But no, it wasn't any of that. It was just him, I guess, just trying to be manipulative, narcissistic, and just sexually deviant. And I'm not a perfect person, but I've always made a vow to myself that when I'm at work, I don't indulge in workplace relationships, things of that nature. I don't do that. I just like to go to work and go home. I like to have me a little laugh, a little kiki with somebody, do my job and just go home, make my money and go home. And that's it. I'm drinking coffee. But again, after everything was said and done, when he got fired, that's when a lot of things happened. I started to get mocked by these people. Again, what I said earlier, these people were newer people. These people hadn't even been working there a year. I had already been there for over a decade. So, when things started happening, where they started acting real nasty towards me, I didn't know how to take it. I didn't understand it. I just knew that he was already gone. So I thought, okay, well, he's gone, they're not going to act the way towards me, whatever. Well, it intensified when he left. They were already being passive aggressive while he was there because they had already found out that I told that he had done what he did. And I don't really want to say, because I am currently working at this place right now. And I don't know, maybe at another time I'll disclose more information about it. But for right now, it's something that I don't want to disclose fully. It's just something that I had to deal with over time. Like I really had to pray, turn to God about it, and really just get my life back in order, because again, it took a toll on me. But anyway, but the bullying intensified, the harassment intensified, and it was done by women, majority women and one man. And with me being the minority, and the man that was also bullying me being a minority, that really confused me, because I was like, I didn't understand, because I just didn't understand what the animosity was about, because I didn't have any dealings with this man. I was the victim. I was the one that was being treated some type of way that I didn't appreciate. But it was like, I guess this was somebody that they really treasured and wanted in their work environment. Whether he was good or bad, it didn't matter. And so the bullying started to commence even more once he left. The male that was in the bullying and harassment as well, he tried to come at me different ways, trying to seduce me, ask for my number. And at the time, I didn't know that's what he was doing. So I gave him my number, and he started messaging me, lewd and sexually explicit messages, asking, different just sexual questions, going into detail about things. And I told him I wasn't interested. And he started getting more aggressive towards me, because I guess it felt like he was adamant that, since me and him was the same race, this is just my thought process, that I was gonna be more into doing something with him versus with the other man who was the opposite race, which is white. And I wasn't interested in neither one of them doing anything with neither one. That's not my stilo. I don't do stuff like that. Not with somebody that I don't even know. Like, I at least have to get to, like, that's just, I know this is a different time we live in. Again, this was 4 years ago, but again, it's like everybody has their own ways of doing things, and that was not for me. And I didn't feel appreciated in being forced into being, felt like I had to do something that I didn't want to do. I'm a grown woman. And this was all taking place at the workplace, in the work environment. So I finally had to lie to him and tell him, well, I have somebody, and, and he's willing to wait for me, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do anything. And so he got offended, and he would come to my department and talk to me, and we would talk about different things, but it would be stuff that would be degrading to black women. And again, this is a black man I'm talking to. So the guy, that was targeting me with the women in the same department, because they all work in the same department. We work in different departments. So the black man that was working with the other women that were targeting me, he would come back there and talk to me as well. And, but it would be things that would be derogatory. Like, he would try to talk about my wigs, because I wear wigs, of course. And I wear makeup to work a lot. I'm not wearing makeup because I'm at home relaxing. So, yeah. But I wear a face full of makeup every day when I go to work because I want to, and it looks good and I like it. Like a lot of women do. And so he would say little stuff about that, why do you have to do all that? And I felt like he was doing it to try to downplay me, to make the other women feel better, because they didn't wear makeup. They did the bare minimum, if anything at all. So I felt like he was trying to downplay me to make them feel better. And so I caught on to that. And on top of that, he would always try to talk down on black women. Of course, I'm 100% black. I love being black. I wouldn't be anything but a black woman, period, point blank. So I was just so confused as to why he kept coming at me so derogatory. I'm like, I haven't done anything to trigger you. Like, we've always spoken passing, and it's been that. Just speak, hey, whatever, and go on about our business. But I guess he caught wind of what was going on between me and the other man, and that made him feel like he could try to, I guess, shoot his shot to show that, oh, well, she'll talk to me, she'll do something with me. I ain't gonna do nothing with none of y'all. And I'm adamant on that. So what I'm here to say, which, this is just a gist. I just wanted to come out with just an intro video, pretty much. I know I'm leaving y'all hanging with some stuff. I apologize. I haven't done this in a long time, and I have so much I have to share with y'all. And I'm going to have a whole setup, but I just wanted to come on here and just let y'all know to never change who you are as a person, to remain faithful and loyal to yourself and to God. God will never forsake you. He will never leave you by yourself. And even though I still currently work at the job and I'm still going through stuff as it is, I've recently, in the past month, I've changed my schedule to a whole nother different shift. And it's like it really riled up the snake pit, and they're really trying to come after me now. So, I ask for you guys' prayers, and I'm going to pray for y'all too, because I know it's so many people who go through mess on the workplace every day. So I say to you to stay strong, keep your head up. Don't let them run you away if you can. If it get too bad where you can't deal with it, then just try to find you something better, or just leave, and, God will make a way. If you believe, he gonna make a way. Point blank, period. And that's what I know. So, but that's just some of the gist of my harassing at my job. I'm gonna leave it there with the man, him trying to infiltrate and trying to, I guess, force his way into showing that, well, he could get me. He can get me to, lay up with him or do whatever, be sexual with him. And I'm like, I guess to me it was like he was trying to demonstrate a point. And I'm just like, I'm not that type of woman. I'm not that type of woman. I've never been that type of woman. So I'm like, you think after one text conversation that I was just going to open my legs? And then his request of me while we were at the job was so obscene. It just really offended me. But I have more to tell about that story. I have more stories to tell as far as the gang stalking. It's a lot. And I mean, this is over a 4-year span. It's a lot. I probably have to write down a lot of stuff to try to remember everything. But just in the past month alone, since I've changed my schedule, it's been a lot. I was almost set up to get into a fight with somebody over this current man that I'm talking about. He's still working there and he still gives me hell. He's still trying to come at me some type of way. Oh my gosh, it's a lot, guys. So I hope that you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to put out videos as much as I can. I just wanted this to be somewhat of an intro and just to let you guys know that if I can make it through all this crap that the world tries to put out, you can too. So just keep your head up, stay positive as much as you can. Pray. I'm a praying woman. Like I said, God gets me through a lot, everything. So if you're a praying person, you believe in God, pray. He's going to make a way out of no way. So I hope you guys stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy my content. Bye.